Hi guys, welcome to my cottage homesteading. I'm Elisa and today I'm going to show you how to make lavender salves. This video is part of a collaboration with some other wonderful channels and it's called GARDENHERBSCOLLAB, and I look forward to introducing you to the other channels later in the video. But let's get organised to make this salve. Back in the summer I harvested the lavender in my garden. Always choose herbs that haven't been sprayed with chemicals, and you pick lavender flowers when the flowers are just starting to open. Pick your herbs early in the morning after any dew, but before the sun really gets hot, and then you'll get the highest oil content from your herbs. When you're making a salve, you have so many options on what you can do. In this one, I'm using the cold infused method to infuse the oil. You can choose whatever oil you want, you can choose whatever herbs you want, and you can cold infuse or hot infuse. With cold infused, you use dried herbs. It does take longer though, because you need the herbs to sit in the oil for 6 weeks, and you need to shake it for the first 2 weeks to get it all mixed up. And always make sure that your herbs are covered with the oil. I've got a sterilized half pint jar here, and I'm going to half fill it with some dried flowers. You can use whatever oil you like, just make sure it's nice and fresh and it has an expiry date long into the distance so that the salves can last a longer time. Some good options are vegetable, sunflower, apricot kernel oil, or even almond oil. Top up the herbs, and you'll want to fill the jar up to the top so that there's less air in the jar to stop oxidization happening. Remove all the air bubbles out of the jar and make sure that the herbs are covered by the oil. Place a lid on the jar, give it a good shake, and continue to shake for 2 weeks, and then just leave it in the pantry or on a windowsill. If the weather's good, leave it on a windowsill. If it's cold weather, then it's just better off in a warm pantry, and leave it there for 6 weeks to infuse. It looks pretty good already. I started this jar 6 weeks ago, so now it's ready to strain out. To make the salve, you need to gather your supplies. I use this saucepan to mix up my salve in, and I don't use it for anything else, especially anything for food. Before you mix up the salve, you need to get everything ready because it's going to start to set quite quickly, so you need to be prepared. I've got some clean containers that are storage containers. I'm using aluminium today. I've used glass in the past. They both work great. I've got them on this piece of wood because they get quite hot once you've poured the salve mixture into it, and I don't want it to ruin my table. So they're up off the table for protection for the table. I've got my salve pouring jug, which I only use for making salves, and that just helps me get the salve into the containers without spilling it as much as it would if I was just pouring it straight from the saucepan, which would be a big mess. I recommend that you don't use a glass jug because they can explode when you pour the hot salve into them. Pure essential lavender oil. Now the pure essential oil, you need to make sure that it is pure essential oil and not just a fragrance, because fragrance is actually a synthetic chemical and it's not the actual pure essential oil, so it doesn't have any medicinal benefits. My infused lavender oil, coconut oil, a measuring spoon, which I only use for making salves. I think there's a pattern, and some beeswax. I'm going to use 180 ml of the infused lavender oil. That's about 6 ounces. 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. And 4 tablespoons of melted beeswax. And now we take this over to the stove top and warm it up so that all the ingredients can mix together. Once you've mixed all your ingredients together and you've taken it off the stove top, add your pure essential oil in. I'm going to be using about 20 to 30 drops today. Mix that in. Now what we need to do is let this cool down completely. Now don't be tempted to stick your finger in to see if it's cool or set, because you'll leave a fingerprint in it if it's not. You want it to be nice and cool, and then we can put the lids on. You can make your salves out of all sorts of different herbs. I've chosen lavender to share with you today because so many people grow lavender. I know not all of you, but a lot of people do grow lavender, so it's something that a lot of people have. Lavender is an antiseptic, so this salve is good for things like skin sores, insect bites, stings, and it's also good for minor burns. That would be if you didn't have aloe vera on hand, because you all know that aloe vera is my favourite for burns. But this is a plan B. I also use this salve on dry lips and an occasional acne spot too. The information to make the salves will be in the description below. As I mentioned at the start, this is a collaboration video, GARDENHERBSCOLLAB, and my friend Mary over at Mary's Nest has put this together. Mary is one of the sweetest YouTubers I know, and I'm so grateful to call her a friend. Her channel, Mary's Nest, shares traditional recipes for making nutrient-rich foods by using simple ingredients. So you can see why I like her channel. Some of my favourite topics that Mary's covered are making bone broth, sourdough bread, and some vinegars. She makes all sorts of vinegars. And she goes into great detail about everything. So if you've never even made any of those things before, you will know how to do it and you will not fail, because she covers everything. But she also covers a lot more topics too, so be sure to check out her channel. Mary has organised this collab with the 8 channels, and I'll have a playlist at the end of this video, and all the information to all the channels will be in the description below. You may even know some of the other channels, like Whip Paw Will Holler, who leaves comments on our videos all the time. Laurie is a great supporter of this channel, and I'm so thrilled to find out that she's a YouTuber too. The other channels involved in this collab are My Revival, Tressa's Stay at Home Life, Vicky's Country Home, Heritage Ways, and Little Jordan Farm. So check out that playlist and you'll be able to see what all the other channels are doing with their herbs. If you found this content valuable, then give the video a like, and if you'd like to find out what we're doing on our small space homesteading channel, then subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you can be the first to find out when we put a new video up. And as always, leave your questions and comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.